on a larger scale, right? um, Everything you said was definitely that I'll agree with. Um, and as everybody knows, last episode we were kind of talking about the separation between black men and black women. We're not going to get to that this episode. We're going to take a break and jump on that the next one. But like I said, I wish I had a response. I can only say that for me personally, I do want black women to feel protected on a macro scale. I don't want them to feel like they are, and something that kind of tripped me out about the whole Tory Megan situation. Like these ignorant cats are jumping on the internet like, oh, Meg a snitch, Meg a snitch. It's like, bro,
he
y'all
fucking shot her. He
yeah,
shot her.
y'all
Like,
don't know how the streets work, and it shows.
He shot her. Like, it was almost like from the beginning of the situation, I saw far too many black men finding humor in the shit. And that was what was like really pissing me off, because there's nothing funny about domestic violence, number one.
No,
There's
man.
nothing funny about a man of any color shooting a woman, and possibly he could have killed her. There was, I was just disgusted at the amount, at the lack of compassion for her and her situation. And it, like I've said it before, and I'll continue to say it, Black women are the most disrespected human beings on this entire planet. We are disrespected, we are disregarded, and we are very much misrepresented by the men that we so desperately try to uplift and try to uphold. Like, it was black women on the front lines fighting for justice for George Floyd, and like, we've been out here, and yet and still we find it funny that a black man shot a black woman.
I mean, it happens every day,
Yeah, there's nothing funny about the abuse of black women in any shape, form, or fashion. It's ridiculous. It is utterly ridiculous.
I think that one of the most common forms that we see that in is when there are domestic situations. For instance, in St. Louis, there were 2 black women kidnapped this past week. Or last week, over the weekend, something like that, right? So, I said it to my point. I think the most common instance that we see black women not necessarily being protected is in instances of domestic things like breakups or, infidelity, cheating, things like that, where men feel like they have some type of possession or something over these women, right? Which is complete and total BS, number one. But 2, like, who raised you for you to resort to violence because their ego is hurt, bro? Like, like, don't get me wrong, I've been hurt. Like, remember when Martin Lawrence said, what did he say when she told him she wasn't giving him a quality time? He's like, I should crack your motherfucking skull. You know what I'm saying? Like, he's like, I ain't giving you no more quality time. Don't get me wrong, I've definitely felt that emotion. Have I ever followed through? Hell no. For what? Because, I got a fishing rod. I'm going to go throw it and cast it and give me another fish, But it's like, bro, like, you cats are wildin', man. Like, and we don't know the situation between, Meg and Tory. Like, we don't know. We don't know if they were dating. We don't know if they were just friends. Right. We don't know if they were working on they were going to the studio. We don't know, I do have a little insider information that they were, hanging with Kylie that day, which everybody knows is kind of common knowledge. But, Meg is out in LA all the time now. So her and Kylie kind of hang. I don't know if they tight or what, but I know somebody to be around, and they like, bro, they cool. Yeah. Which would kind of also explain Kylie being in the WAP video, but we'll talk about that another time. But, like, we don't know the situation, and even still, like, bruh, like, for you to resort to the use of a handgun in California got some tight gun laws.
Yeah.
Right.
You're not even from here. Like, you're not even from this country.
Tight. Like in California, you basically can't even carry a pistol unless you're a police officer. Like they don't have concealed carry laws. Like you can, but it's so hard to obtain one that you can just walk around with it. Like they make it nearly impossible, essentially. Like, and you out here like that, bro. Like number one, you know you ain't supposed to be out here like that. And the fact that he didn't even think through the situation, like, did he think it was just gonna be good? Like, oh, I'm gonna let these rounds off and it's gonna be good. And you know, like, bro, we don't know, but
right. Well,
it's go ahead, bro.
I was gonna say because a lot was said, and I definitely was just listening. So I kind of want to rewind because you know,
go ahead.
a lot said. So number one, with this being, we are not a family show, but we have a family air. We're an adult family show, right? So we can agree to disagree on some things. I think, you know, definitely shout out to Harlem, and that was some passionate expression, man. And AI, you said something that was very important too, where you spoke about things being micro and macro. And that is somewhat my sentiment. You know, niggas will take a T out of word in a second.
That nigga said sentiment.
Right, sentiment. But it's right. My sentiment but so as far as with black women not being protected, on a major scale, I definitely agree. However, one of the things that I say, and this is something I'm passionate about, it definitely is about perspective. It's definitely about facts. You know what I'm saying? Right. We can't leave that out there. The reason I say perspective, though, is because in my life, from my own actions, as well as what I've seen other brothers do, it would be the opposite. You know what I mean? I know brothers who went to jail from, you know, I'm not going to say what they did, but it was in protection of not only their woman, but women of the neighborhood. If things happen unfortunate, such as the rape word, and I hate that word, and I'm a man, I don't even like to talk about that shit, but rapists ended up dead or beat the shit out of, and it didn't have to be, oh, this was my girlfriend, this was my cousin. It was a neighborhood thing, and this is something that was in the 80s, the 90s, and the 2000s. When it came to sisters not being violated, disrespected, so on and so forth, myself and other brothers like me, you know, things, I'm not trying to implicate myself or anybody on a damn show, but things were done. They're not always broadcasted, but things were done. But once again, if being honest, I would have to say that those were micro incidents. You know what I'm saying? Those were micro situations where they happened in my life and other brothers' life, and we don't play that shit even to this day. But on a global scale, I always talk about, you know, and I won't go too much into the spiritual, but I do always talk about why are our sisters the most disrespected, and why as men, as a collective, why are we so bitch made collectively to let it happen? Because in all races, except ours, all, not some, all, you will not do that shit to their women and not be affected, okay? You know, now, we could go down a rabbit hole of, I think the nicest way to say it, or the coolest way to say it, so we don't get too deep, because we could actually talk about this on a money, power, respect episode, like you said, AI and Harlem. But you know, this goes back years and years and years of a lot of infiltration, if you will, of people who don't look like us, people who don't have the same culture values as us, and so on and so forth. And rather you know, people be, well, it was the black woman fault, it's the black man fault. No, it's our fault as a collective that we moved away from our principles. You know what I'm saying? And to me, that's a seed for, and this is super simplified what I'm saying, but it's a seed to how these things can happen. But I'm all for, if the black woman is disrespected by one of us, and definitely somebody who not one of us, you know, heads gotta roll, man. You know what I'm saying? And it ain't fucking nothing wrong with saying this. You know, like, if we the only race, man, that, like, if we talk about off with your head, if you disrespect our women or children or my fellow brother, Oh, he's being violent. He's this, and that. But go do that to the Irish. Go do that to the Italians. Go do that to the Japanese and see what happened to you. You know what I'm saying? In my opinion, I know a lot of people don't agree with this, and I've gotten into many fights about this, but the black woman is God. You know what I'm saying? And I'm not finna go down that road. You know, it is a most high, but I always say the black woman, especially for a black man, that's the first example or the first instance of God that you know. Funny how I put this like dashiki mask on and shit, and I just started talking some serious shit. But seriously, man. So, you know, I stand with the black women. I stand with the black brothers, man. And like just with